A man was alone one night and I helped him feel safe. It was a rainy evening when I first saw him sitting alone on the park bench. His clothes were soaked, his shoulders hunched, and his eyes carried a weight I recognized all too well. The look of someone who felt invisible in the world. I almost walked past. I had places to be, things to do, but something made me stop. Maybe it was the quiet way he hugged his arms around himself, or maybe it was because I knew what it felt like to be alone when all you really needed was someone to care. I hesitated for a moment, then walked over. "Hey," I said softly, "are you okay?" He looked up at me, startled. His eyes were a deep brown, but tired, like he hadn't slept in days. I'm fine," he whispered, though it was obvious he wasn't. The truth is I knew him. Not well, but enough. His name was Daniel. He went to my college and I had seen him a few times in the library. Always quiet, always by himself. We never talked before that night. The rain was coming down harder now, so I offered, "Come on, let's get out of the rain." He hesitated, then nodded. We walked together to a small cafe nearby, one that stayed open late. Inside, the warm glow of the light softened his tense expression. I ordered us two hot chocolates, and for a long while we just sat in silence, listening to the rain against the windows. I didn't know what to say at first. I mean, what do you say to a stranger who's hurting but doesn't want to talk? But sometimes just being there is enough. Finally, he spoke. "I didn't think anyone would notice me tonight," he said quietly. "I noticed," I replied. That was the beginning of a conversation that would change both our lives. He told me he had been feeling invisible for months, carrying the weight of secrets he didn't know how to share. He admitted that he was struggling with who he was, afraid of what people would think if they knew the truth, that he was gay. I listened, not judging, not interrupting, just listening. And then I told him something I hadn't shared with many people. "You are not alone. I understand because I'm gay too." The look in his eyes when I said that was like a spark of relief. Like suddenly he wasn't the only one in the world carrying this burden. He smiled, just a little, and in that moment the walls he had built around himself began to crumble. We talked for hours that night, about fear, about loneliness, about hope. He confessed that he had never told anyone before, and I promised him that his secret was safe with me. But more than that, I promised that he wasn't alone anymore. When the cafe closed, I offered to walk him home. The rain had finally stopped and the streets glistened under the street lights. As we walked, his hand brushed against mine. It was small, almost accidental, but I didn't pull away. Neither did he. At his door, he paused and turned to me. "Thank you for tonight. I don't think I've ever felt this safe with someone before." His words stayed with me. That night wasn't about grand gestures or dramatic confessions. It was about something simple, but powerful, to people finding comfort in each other when they needed it most. Over the weeks that followed, Daniel and I grew closer. We studied together, shared meals, and laughed about the smallest things. He slowly opened up more and I watched as the weight he had carried for so long began to lift. One evening, as we sat under the stars, he looked at me and said, "I don't feel invisible anymore. Because of you." That was the moment I realized I had fallen for him. Not just because of his smile or the way his eyes lit up when he talked about his dreams, but because of his strength. Even when he thought he was weak, he was braver than he knew. Eventually, Daniel found the courage to come out to his closest friends. It wasn't always easy and not everyone understood, but he knew he had me by his side, and I knew I had him. A year went by and my feelings for Daniel only grew stronger, but I knew I couldn't keep pretending forever. So one breezy afternoon, as we sat on our usual park bench, I finally confessed my feelings for him. To my surprise, he felt the same way. We began dating and it was magical. We explored hidden cafes, starlit walks, cozy nights in. Each day felt like a new adventure, and with each passing week, our love deepened. There were challenges, of course. Our first serious fight came when Daniel got a job at a local bookstore, but asked me to keep our relationship a secret from his colleagues. I understood his need for privacy, but couldn't help feeling a bit hurt. As months passed, the struggle between honesty and secrecy took a toll on me. I started to feel like I was living a double life. One day, after a particularly heated argument with Daniel, I confided in my best friend, Sarah. She listened patiently, then said something that changed everything. "Why are you hiding? Your happiness shouldn't be a secret," her words echoed in my mind. That night, when Daniel came over, we talked. I told him about my conversation with Sarah and how I couldn't keep living in secret anymore. To my relief, he understood. Together, we decided to come clean. It was scary, but also liberating. Telling people about our relationship took some of the pressure off, and as we shared our love openly, it grew even stronger. It hasn't always been smooth sailing. There were times when people's reactions hurt, and there are still moments when I wish Daniel could hold my hand a little more openly in public. But their joy in sharing our love makes it all worthwhile. With every supportive smile, every congratulatory hug, I feel blessed. Looking back, I realized that chance encounter on a rainy night was more than just a meeting. It was a turning point. If I hadn't walked up to that bench, if I hadn't offered a listening ear and a shared umbrella, I might have missed out on the love of my life. Daniel might have continued to feel unseen, unheard. Instead, I found a love that makes my heart sing and a partner who inspires me to be a better version of myself. This isn't a fairy tale where everything is perfect, but it is a true story of love, trust, and the power of showing up when someone needs you most. So here's to the lonely nights, the silent understanding, and the beautiful journey of finding love in the most unexpected places. If you believe in fate, let me know by giving this video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.